Erich Fromm's The Art of Loving is not a guide to romance in the ordinary sense, but a profound psychological exploration of what it means to love as a mature, conscious human being. Fromm begins with a striking claim. Most people think love is something that simply happens to us, a matter of luck or chemistry, but he insists love is an art. Like painting or music, it requires knowledge, practice, and discipline. Without that effort, what we often call love is only a mixture of infatuation, desire, or dependency. Fromm argues that modern society misunderstands love. Instead of seeing it as an active power, many people treat love as an object to acquire or a bargain to strike. I will love you if you make me feel good, if you meet my expectations, if you satisfy my needs. This transactional attitude, he warns, leads not to genuine intimacy, but to disappointment and emptiness. True love, in contrast, is not a passive feeling but an activity, something we do rather than something that merely happens. One of Fromm's great insights is that love is rooted in the paradox of human existence. On the one hand, we are separate beings, each with our own body, mind, and perspective. On the other hand, we long to overcome this separation, to feel united with others and with the world. Love, then, is the answer to the fundamental human need for connection. It allows us to transcend our isolation without losing our individuality. But because this is such a difficult task, many people fall into distorted forms of love, clinging, dominating, or escaping into shallow pleasures, instead of cultivating the discipline to truly love. Fromm identifies several types of love: brotherly love, motherly love, erotic love, self-love, and love of God. Each represents a different way of overcoming separation and affirming the existence of another being. Brotherly love is the foundation, the sense of care and respect for all human beings. Motherly love is unconditional, nurturing, giving life and support without demanding anything in return. Erotic love, the passion between two individuals, is often mistaken as the highest form, but Fromm stresses that it must be rooted in care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge in order to be real. Self-love, contrary to selfishness, is the ability to affirm one's own existence and dignity. Without it, we cannot truly love others. Finally, love of God, or love of the ultimate, reflects the human longing for unity with the deepest meaning of life. Central to all these forms of love is the same principle. Real love is not about possessing, controlling, or using another person. It is about affirming their being, caring for their growth, and respecting their uniqueness. Fromm summarizes this with 4 elements of love: care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. Care means to be actively concerned for another's life and development. Responsibility means being ready to respond to their needs. Respect means seeing the other as they are, not as we want them to be. Knowledge means the deep effort to truly understand another person, beyond surface appearances. Together, these 4 qualities form the practice of genuine love. In The Art of Loving, Fromm also warns that love cannot exist without freedom. If one partner dominates or submits, what exists is not love but dependency or exploitation. Love thrives only when 2 people meet as equals, each rooted in their own strength, yet willing to give themselves fully. In this way, love is an act of will, a conscious decision to commit and to care, rather than a fleeting emotion. The first part of Fromm's book makes it clear: love is an art that requires effort, discipline, and humility. Just as no one becomes a great musician without practice, no one becomes capable of love without inner work. This is a challenge, but also a hope, because it means love is not simply a matter of fate. It is something every person can learn and cultivate, a skill and a way of being that transforms both the lover and the beloved. In The Art of Loving, Erich Fromm continues his exploration of love, not as a fleeting emotion or romantic illusion, but as a profound act of will, discipline, and responsibility. After establishing that love is a practice, something one must learn and cultivate, Fromm turns to the question of how different forms of love manifest and how they are often misunderstood in modern society. He argues that people frequently confuse infatuation, dependency, or possession with love, when in reality these are distortions of the deeper principle. Genuine love requires freedom and growth, not ownership or control. Fromm distinguishes between several key forms of love: brotherly love, motherly love, erotic love, self-love, and love of God. Each represents a unique dimension of the human capacity to connect. Brotherly love is universal, an expression of care and solidarity with all people. It is rooted in the recognition of shared humanity and the desire to alleviate suffering. Without this foundation, more personal forms of love risk becoming selfish or exclusive. Motherly love, in contrast, embodies unconditional care and affirmation, the gift of nurturing life and encouraging independence. For Fromm, true maternal love is paradoxical. It gives both security and the strength to let go. Erotic love, which people often mistake as the highest form of love, is for Fromm both powerful and dangerous. It represents the desire for complete union with another person, a breaking down of the barrier between self and other. But if it is not grounded in respect, discipline, and maturity, it can become a mere craving, a consuming passion that fades as quickly as it ignites. Fromm warns that without the stability of brotherly and self-love, erotic relationships often collapse under the weight of unrealistic expectations. Self-love, though controversial in his time, is central to Fromm's philosophy. He rejects the idea that loving oneself is selfish. On the contrary, the ability to affirm and respect oneself is the very basis for respecting others. If one cannot accept their own humanity, their flaws, struggles, and dignity, they cannot truly embrace another's. Self-love is the anchor that prevents love from becoming dependency or sacrifice of the self. Finally, love of God, or love of the ultimate, represents the deepest orientation of the human spirit. For Fromm, this is not necessarily tied to organized religion, but reflects humanity's search for meaning and unity beyond the self. It is the spiritual dimension that ties together all other forms of love, pointing toward transcendence and wholeness. What makes The Art of Loving radical is Fromm's insistence that love is not a passive state one falls into, but an active art. Like music, painting, or philosophy, it demands practice, patience, and commitment. He critiques modern society for encouraging quick gratification and consumerist illusions of love, where people treat relationships as commodities to be acquired and discarded. In a culture of constant distraction, he argues, few are willing to invest the time and effort needed to truly learn the art. Fromm stresses 4 essential elements of mature love: care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. Care means to actively support another's growth. Responsibility is the willingness to respond to another's needs. Respect involves seeing the other as they are, not as a projection of one's desires. Knowledge requires understanding another person deeply, beyond surface appearances. These principles transform love from a fleeting passion into a lasting bond of freedom and growth. Ultimately, Fromm's vision of love is both demanding and liberating. It requires discipline, humility, and the courage to face one's own weaknesses. But in return, it offers the most profound experience of human existence. A union that preserves individuality, a bond that expands rather than confines, a practice that reveals the deepest truth of being. The Art of Loving remains a timeless reminder that love is not merely something that happens. It is something we must choose, learn, and live every day. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.